guest, Steve Rother. I miss you so much.
I miss you. It's good to see you. I
It-
wish I could reach out and give you a hug, but we'll wait.
Where are you today? Which side of the universe are you at today?
I'm in Las Vegas. I'm actually at my home, which is unusual these days.
Which is, which is rare and beautiful. And the fact that there's snow in the background is just a lie, a big fat lie. There's no
That's
snow.
correct. It looks so nice and warm though. I'm ready.
Yeah,
The reality is my air conditioning's on.
there you go. That's what it is. Excellent.
Uh,
Without
okay.
further ado, Steve Rother is an amazing, amazing human being, amazing teacher, and he channels the group. And I know that you recently had a course that I just haven't had a minute to myself yet to try to attend, and it was on aging backwards. And when I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, I've got to get him onto my summit. So, with that, I present to you the amazing Steve Rother. Take it away, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you, Marianne. Well, and obviously this is something that's taking place globally. It's not one person or one idea. This is something that's happening everywhere. The way the group described it to me was basically they said we're evolving. We're the terms that we use, and we can use all sorts of terms. It doesn't make any difference. But the terms that we use are simply that we're moving into the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension is quite a bit different than the dimensional realities we left. It's not like one day we're going to make this move or wake up in the fifth dimension. We're anchoring small pieces of it every day. The group actually says that they say, you humans are absolutely amazing. We didn't know you would do this because here you're in the fifth dimension, but by being conscious creators, you keep creating the third dimension inside the fifth dimension. So what we're trying to do is anchor as many of these little attributes that we can to bring the fifth dimension into our reality here right now. So that's one of the key elements that we're starting to do. And as we move into higher vibrations, we're going to live longer. It's real simple. These bodies were designed to live 300 years plus. So the fact that we have developed all these habits as a society, as cultures, as religions, whatever it is, we've obviously mistreated the body over long periods of time by what we eat, how we eat, what we do, so forth. So we only have right now a lifespan of less than 100 years for most people. That will be changing. Absolutely. So these ideas, we did a course on reverse aging. That's really interesting because I didn't know Marianne was doing this. So I think we're all on the same page. We just weren't talking about it. Yeah. But next month we're doing another one. We're doing one called Stepping into the Ageless Body. Okay, so now we're working with reverse aging over here for the physical body. Now, as we move into a higher realm, we actually want something a little freer, a little where we don't have to deal with it as much. One of the examples the group gave was very simply, they said, you're walking around carrying that body. and, and the reality is you're about 80% physical right now. And about 20% of your spirit gets to leak out once in a while when you smile, when you laugh, when you're doing things that you're really passionate about, and be able to do that. That's when your spirit comes out. So you got 80-20. We have a capability of reversing those figures. And if you stop and think about that, that alone is huge because that means all this stuff we do for our body every day. I don't know about you, but it takes me 20, 30 minutes to get ready in the morning. And I know it used to take my wife a couple of hours. And I'd say, honey, come on, let's speed up. She says, no, beauty takes time. So the reality is, Marianne knew Barbara pretty well. So basically that's the idea is that we have all these things. The group says, do you have any idea how much energy you spend just moving this body around? Our cars, our energy, our own energy, doing that. If we're able to increase our spiritual combination in there and basically even bring it to 30-70 or 50-50 or something of that nature. That is directly in front of us. And we have those capabilities right now. So that is kind of the direction the group's been going with this Ageless. And I have to say, it's brand new for us. We've talked a lot about a lot of things for many years, but just recently the group said, all right, let's get serious about fixing the body, about changing that, about changing your rhythms and so forth. So to be able to move in that direction was actually huge. And then to find out that you were doing this, it just the synchronicities abound again.
And
So,
this is the
excuse me.
second time I'm doing this one. So I did the
Is
first
that the same
I
subject?
I did the same subject, same name, because I got so many requests for it. And some
Yeah.
of the speakers couldn't make it that really wanted to come. So I did the exact same thing about 2 months ago. And I think I'm going to have to do a book. I may have to get you to do a chapter for me if you want, or maybe a
Sounds
forward.
like a great idea. I'm
You should
there.
do the forward. You should do the forward. Yes, thank you so much. Do the forward for
I
me,
would
please.
love to.
That
I
would,
would be honored. Absolutely.
and I am
Yeah.
a product of Steve, but and the group, but this is like uncanny. Please continue. Excitement over
Well,
here.
and that's a piece that we all need to understand is that we're changing. If we all just, we're seeing it in so many different ways. Excuse me. Early morning phlegm for me. You guys are later in the day. But basically the whole concept is that we're changing. We're evolving really, really fast. Um, it doesn't look like that if you turn on the television or if you watch the news or things of that nature. It almost looks the opposite. But the reality is we're advancing very quickly. And what is taking place is that we're seeing all the systems, if you will. When we evolve and we start moving our vibration, because the fifth dimension isn't a place, it's a frequency. So as we raise our vibration, we can start experiencing more of the fifth dimensional attributes. And in that, it also comes to a point where we can basically relax a little bit. We've been fighting so hard. It's time to take it a little bit easier, to coast into some of this energy rather than fight for it all the time, and let spirit lead the way. And that is actually one of the key elements that the group has been really talking about a lot lately. And it's been really amazing to see. So and like I said, I look around, I'm interviewing people on my podcast and being interviewed on other people's podcasts, and we're all talking very similar. All of a sudden, we're all talking about the aging process. So I do believe that a lot of this information is being dropped in the subconscious mind, and people who are attuned to it are picking it up and teaching it. Thank you, Marianne. Good job. Absolutely. Well, we tend to ignore it. We get information all the time. We go, oh, that's cool. I'll think about that later. And we just walk through our life. And that's really what's taking place. We have a change of energy, a change of the way we think about everything. There's a lot of keys to it. I love the pillars that he was just talking about, Sifu was just talking about. Incredible stuff that we can work together with because we're all in this together. That's the interesting part. And the fascinating thing about all of this is if we just hold hands, we can make it through everything with no problem. So what is taking place in the world today? Well, I'm obviously not getting into politics, but at the same time, what we're seeing a rise of vibration so much that the systems are having trouble keeping up. Systems are our finances, our governments, all the systems that we have built. And that's why things look so difficult sometimes. The systems are adjusting, but they take a lot longer than it does for us to make a turn. So be patient, guys. I'm actually very, very positive for what I see ahead. And I do believe that as we take this energy and we work with it, that we're going to share a lot of information that we wouldn't have otherwise. And I do believe, again, the group keeps repeating this one thing, so I'll repeat it here today. There's a secret. When you find yourself walking in a mud puddle, keep walking. It's that simple. So there it is. And we may look around and find ourselves in the throes of change. Everything's shifting. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what to rely on. Just keep walking and keep your eye on it. You're a conscious creator. We're starting to create everything that we can manifest. It's much easier in the fifth dimension, much easier in those higher vibrations. So that's kind of the areas that we're going to be working with on this. On top of that, we have something else taking place that the group has been talking about that fits into the whole process and why we need to do that. And that is the fact that our multidimensional walls are starting to thin. What does that mean? Well, imagine a white light, perfect white light coming from home, right? Heaven, whatever you want to call it. That perfect white light is you. You have everything that you need right there. Comes down, hits this crystal. This crystal we're going to call your higher self. The crystal's one of your 12 dimensions. But the crystal also takes that white light and divides it up into different colors, like a prism. Well, those colors are imperfect light. So that's us. We're imperfect spirits. And that each one of those is a different dimension of our experience. As we start to move into this next level of awareness, we're starting to become aware that we have other dimensions. And furthermore, those dimensional realities are starting to thin. We're starting to get ideas. Many times you go to sleep at night, you have such a vivid dream, but it wasn't you. They were calling you a different name. You were married to somebody else. You were in a different situation. And you actually slipped into one of your other dimensions during those times and woke up in the next morning and those are the dreams you remember the rest of your life sometimes. You just can't forget them. So one of the things that's taking place is those dimensional walls which separate the dimensions are starting to thin. As a result, we're coming back together with a lot more of our perfection. And we basically have to adjust the physical body to accept that, which is why we're all talking about agelessness. We're all talking about living longer. We're talking about trying on some new, like Sifu was talking about the pillars that he came up with, trying new attributes, new ways of working with things. That can be huge. And that is one of the most important aspects that we're seeing. You know, we're hearing a lot of talk on YouTube and different places about the Mandela effect. I love that. The Mandela effect, of course, is simply meaning that we remember things a certain way that we remember from our childhood. And then when we look at it now, it's like it's different. It's like it changed. Coca-Cola had a dash in it. Now it has something down below, and we're all confused by this Mandela effect. That is actually the dimensional walls thinning, because over here, Coca-Cola is spelled one way. Over in one of your other dimensions, it's slightly different. So as we evolve, we're seeing a lot of spiritual awakening. We're going to see a wave of this coming very soon. So all the teachers that have been wandering around, not knowing that they're teachers or not trusting their stuff, this is the perfect time to step into it, because we have a wave of energy that is coming that is very important going down the future, and all of us can be a part of that. But if we hold hands, we can step into this next level. We can change our existence and our physical bodies to match. And that's never been done before. As a result, we have all the eyes of the universe upon planet Earth right now. That's why we're seeing all the ETs that our government's trying to hide from us, all the other things that, you know, are taking place. We're being watched. The I3 Atlas. That's the group was asked about the I3 Atlas. All they said is you are being watched. Real simple. And we're doing all right. That's the other thing. We're doing okay. Keep that in mind. Stay positive on this. Make something magical in your life. We all need it. We all need this next step to be something very special, and we can make it so. It's that simple. Marianne, your work is really stretched out here. I haven't seen you in a couple of years, but I got to investigate a little bit of what you're doing. Very, very nice, my lady.
Oh
Very
my,
nice.
thank you so much. I am pretty busy. I'm not going to lie. We were just we were you should have been with us a little while ago, and
Yeah.
hopefully you'll come back and do another one, and I'll put you right in with us when we're talking about, I don't know if you're familiar with bank code. We were talking about the various personalities. So
Yes.
I recently became a level 5 trainer and coach with them, and so we're,
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Sherry Tree's a pretty good speaker too, and she's pretty awesome. And then I also sell a line of supplements, and Sherry Tree's wife is our executive coach in that company that was hired by the owner there. And, anyways, we were talking about personalities and how I actually thrive on multitasking, and I am constantly being told not to multitask. And and you can't do that. And I said, you know what? I actually talked about you. I said, the only one teacher in my whole life, my one teacher person said to me years ago, your only issue, and I don't even think you called it an issue, you just said this is the one thing that you have, is that you get bored easily,
Right.
that your brain needs a tremendous amount of stimulation, which is true. And I said, I actually thrive on, I love talking about my supplements now. Then I love talking to the next person about a speaker coming in. Then I love talking
Right.
about, I don't know, whatever next. Like I love the variety. I thrive on that. And I said, the only human being that ever said to me, yes, please, is Steve
No,
Rother.
I'm the same way. So you and I have that in common. I'm hyper creative. I have a very extensive studio here. You can't see this green screen, obviously, but I
Yes,
have a very extensive studio. I built most of the computers myself,
you did.
and yet, and yet, none of that, none of that really goes anywhere. The whole idea is we have to be present right now. We have to be here. We have to step into it. And there's many modalities that are starting to surface. That's incredible. I'm really happy that you're spreading out this way. This is very magical, Marianne.
I
Good
like to
job.
take after you, Steve. So I have my and this. I love doing these. And everyone's like, how do you put on a summit every month? And I go, I don't know. It's no big deal. I really don't
I
think it's that big of a deal.
well, if you get everything lined up, it isn't a big deal, I guess. I don't know, but it's a big deal to put it on. And people get to know that. They know where they can find the truth and they know where they can find new ideas and aspects. And that's incredible. We all need to step out, step up and do our work. And
Yeah. And just do
that's the
it and
idea.
love it. I think when you do it
Yeah.
from the heart, how can you can't go wrong. How are you going to go wrong?
It,
Impossible.
when you're working from the heart, you're including your spirit in everything. That's the
Everything.
way I look at it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
not,
then
they're not, I don't worry about making human decisions because I'm being guided in that way. And it just really works.
yes, and people always tell me, how can you put on the summits? How can you do the books? And I'm like, the summits are complicated because you make them complicated. Because you ask 25 questions of people. Why? Let people be who they are. But then again, the other personalities that need more structure, they're like, okay, well, what do you want me to talk about? Exactly. Exactly.
Well,
No, no, exactly. Here's the theme. Do with it what you bring you into that.
yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. No, I do know the feeling of being on the wide berth of seeing everything in the big picture, seeing all the different things that you can get involved in, and to be able to do that. I am hyper creative myself. I've got little projects all over my office in different places, halfway built. You know, that's just kind of how, and it drives my girlfriend nuts because she's very focused and very structured.
And drives
So
everyone
we're just
around that.
yeah, we're just we got to live in different worlds.
Now, two of us together, that would be hard
Yeah.
to
Well,
live.
we probably get along together just fine, but nobody would understand us.
Nobody would understand us. And we do stuff and we'd be like, oh, did you do that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's done.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're like, well, we have had so much fun. Oh my goodness. I don't want to talk about the pool incident at your house.
I didn't think that was coming up, but
I couldn't, I just remembered it now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope he knows that I was trying to be nice. They elected me. I,
we had everybody to the house. They threw me in the pool. That was perfectly fine. I
it
enjoyed it.
was, it was our first teacher's training, and it was a
Yes.
very, very intense course, extremely intense. We went extremely deep. We all became reverends after that. That was the first. So I've been ordained twice, once in the US and once in Canada. And it was so much fun. And the guys all said, no, no, you have to, because you can handle Steve. And I go, what do you mean I can handle Steve? I'm not handling anything. He's going to get so mad at me, never going to talk to me again. And they're like, okay, look at it this way, get his phone and his watch and his wallet away from him so that we're
That's
not.
exactly what they did. Barbara came up to me and said, "Can I borrow your watch?" And I go, "Huh?"
Exactly. And I'm like, Barbara
That was
wants your
hilarious.
watch and your wallet for some reason. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he's never going to, he's psychic, man. He's never going to believe me. But we had fun. We learned hard. And Steve is, I'm telling you, he's not my favorite teacher for no reason. He is absolutely amazing. He encourages you to be you and still learn and go deep because there's no resistance. He creates a situation where there's just no resistance. Now, having said that, there are people that are going to resist. That's,
Of course. There's always
that's
a contrarians.
that's going to always exist, but it was the best. It was my favorite class. I feel like I did the biggest amount of growth, but I also took several classes in a row. And finally, Steve looked at me really close. He goes, I don't want to see you for a while. You are not allowed to come to any more classes. It was just an overload. I was like exploding from the
That is true. There are some times that people show almost an addiction to something, and you're absolutely right. And we need little space so that you do your work.
That's
It's great that if I can teach you something, but then you need to go off and do it, not
that's
just keep coming back. So yeah, that was
and
awesome.
there needs to be that space in between, and many teachers are not about that. They don't give you that space. They don't encourage you to take it. Sometimes it's a money grab. Let's just keep you going and keep you addicted. Whereas Steve was like, no, no, no. I know you love it here. I know you feel at home. Go. I don't want to see you for a while. And then he didn't for a little while, for just a little while. And then we went to Hawaii again.
Yeah, that was magical.
We had some
We're
fun.
we're
Miss
We're
Barbara.
starting to set some things up. I haven't traveled since COVID. Well, I have done a few things in Belgium since my girlfriend's there, but basically, I haven't really done much. I'm starting. Going to be going to Russia next year. We need to break down those barriers, plain and simple.
Yes.
The people are awesome. So I'm
Yes,
going to
they
Russia. I'm going to Turkey. I'm going to be going back to several of the places. I'm going to the Netherlands on December 21st.
that's
I'll
the
be
best.
there. I'll be there celebrating my 30th year of channeling
Wow.
on the solstice. Yeah, that'll be 30 years for me.
That's amazing.
So yeah, uh, where did it go? And I'm so young. I'm barely 30 years old.
That's right. And he's got a wonderful girlfriend. I
Yes, I
love
do.
her. She's lovely. And I'm not sure who your host is in the Netherlands, but if it's who I think it is, she's lovely too.
You probably don't know Daisy.
Oh,
She's hasn't been our host there before, but well, she's been around us for a long time. So
oh,
Daisy's great. And then of course Elke hosts us in the Belgium. Although we're coming up with a new host because she's too busy with her work. She's a high school teacher, so she gets pretty busy.
yeah, I'm
So
sure.
anyway, we're there, but I'm
I'm
over there a lot. We're traveling. I want to see everybody. If you're anywhere around, please come give me a hug.
oh, I
That's
would love to
I'm a
come to
collector.
I'd love to come to Russia. I've never been. So you're actually going to Russia proper, not like somewhere around. Where?
Moscow,
Right to Moscow,
Moscow,
right to the center
Moscow.
of everything. And where are you going into Turkey? I've never been there either.
We'll probably do something in Istanbul. I've done things in Ankara before. My books sell like crazy over there.
Mhm.
There's all of the books are still selling. I get regular checks from different countries, which is really interesting
Mm-hmm.
because I knew nothing about any of this when I started writing books and so forth. But the books were translated into 19 different languages.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that opened the door for me to travel
Mm-hmm.
and be different places. We had hosts, we had publishers in different places that kind of, gave us a way to go. So it worked out really well. But I'm really feeling the draw to go back to Turkey, to go back to Holland. I'll be in Holland every 6 months. I'll be in Belgium every 6 months. So I'll be over in that part of the world at least twice a year. And then we'll be in different areas. We've been asked to come back to Spain. We've been asked to come to Sao Paulo. There's all sorts of things that are starting to open up. Uh, but I have to take it slow, obviously, because I get so excited that calendar gets pretty busy.
How many people do
You,
you need to be able to come out and teach if it's another country?
I don't need huge groups. I've worked with groups in the thousands. So
Mhm.
I have done that. We've done it before, but it's not the same as a small group. If I have a group 50 to 75 maximum, I can take them through
Okay,
all sorts of things. And I've done groups as small as 35. And sometimes it just depends on the economy and how much we have to put, obviously, we have to
sure.
we're a nonprofit. We can't afford to lose money on a big thing. So obviously we have to put money as one of the deciding factors into some of it. But the reality is I'm gonna start opening it up in a lot of different ways again. And I'm
That's
very
good. I'm
excited
glad to
about
hear
that.
that because some of the countries you just mentioned, like Russia and Turkey, there's a huge high vibration. The hunger, the level of hunger for new information and for personal growth is huge in those countries.
You would absolutely it's hard to describe the
Mhm.
people in Russia or the people in Turkey or the people in South America or the people I went to Kazakhstan and did a seminar.
Mhm.
900 people showed up for the free open evening. I mean, yes, there's a hunger.
Mhm.
So I didn't even know where Kazakhstan was. So basically, we've done a lot of different things of this nature, but it's one way of reaching out and touching people.
For sure.
And it's difficult to travel, it's difficult to do that. But at the same time, with United Airlines, I just became a million-mile member, meaning I have flown a million miles in my lifetime, which is interesting because I'm also a million-mile member on American Airlines. So I have I have traveled.
Great. I actually, the line of supplements that I sell is they're actually made in Moldova. So Moldova,
Oh, okay. I know
Azerbaijan,
where that is. Yeah. Yeah.
they're all right there. They're all right, Ukraine, like it's Moldova's actually
Yep.
right beside Ukraine. So at some point, once a year, they open it up for us to be able to come and go into the factory and spend some time in Moldova. So I
Oh,
am
nice.
that one time. I just need to make some room in my schedule. I just got back from Greece and I actually won the trip. So amazing. Anyways, thank you so much, Steve. I know you have an insane schedule. I can't
I
thank you
do.
enough for gracing me here. Please let's do this again and
We will. We
hold you to
will.
forward to for my book for sure.
It's been a real honor, my dear. I am so proud of you. I really am.
You're
Nice
gonna make
work.
me cry. I love you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Hugs to both of you and Elka and mwah. Thank you so much.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you. And with